the Security Council in the United Nations sit? They sit in a circle. Okay? And they sit in a circle only because, hold on, Nanjappa, you have internet? Yeah? Why don't we put some images up as I speak and I'll turn to you. Can you handle that? Yeah? So go up to your laptop. And it'll flash on this screen, will it? Yeah? Okay. Can you put on the image for Security Council?
The United Nations Security Council.
United Nations Security Council. Okay. While Nanjappa does that, I just wanted to get a sense from some of you here, from a few of you, why did you register for this session? Why did you come to a session on diplomacy, global impact? Yeah?
So basically I had no knowledge about it, so I wanted to know like something about it.
Okay. All right. Good enough reason.
To know different perspectives.
To know different perspectives. Okay. Yeah.
Because you are the one who.
Thank you. That's very kind. Okay. What else? Yeah. Sounded interesting. Can you tell me what about it sounded interesting? The diplomacy part. Okay. நீங்க ஏன் வந்தீங்க இந்த செஷனுக்கு? சொல்லுங்க. இந்த செஷன் என்ன செஷன் தெரியுமா உங்களுக்கு? இல்லையா? ஓகே, டீச்சர் சொல்லி தரலையா? There are people, good shepherd, shepherdians. I look to Kaina, and I look to some of you in leadership roles here. There are some students from another school here with you who are shy to ask questions. They may be shy because of the fact that they have come to your school, that this is not their school. They may be shy because they may be more comfortable speaking in Tamil than they would be in English. In the United Nations, Nanjappa, Yenappa.
1 second, sir. Here it is.
Can you all see that? Stand up and see if you can't see it. Yeah? That's the Security Council room where all those big decisions on war and peace and diplomacy are taken. Yeah? That's a good question, man. I don't know, but I'll figure it out for you. And in fact, when you do guided tours of the United Nations in New York, they actually give you information about things like that. But I don't know what the photo is about or what that painting's about. You know why they sit in a circle? They sit in a circle because that way nobody is at the head of the table. When you have a rectangular table, you know, like in boardrooms, when you go to a boardroom in a typical corporate office, you will find a long rectangular table. And people will sit at the head of that rectangular table, and whoever sits at the head of that table is the manager, is the convener, is the person that is going to decide how the meeting agenda should flow and how decisions are taken. Here, we all sit in a circle because we are all equal. How many countries are there in the world? 193. Right answer. What's your name, my friend? Dhruv. Dhruv, what grade are you in? 10th. Okay. And how did you know this? GK. Simple. Did you all know that there were 193 countries? Yes? Now you nod. Now you nod. Okay. The 193 countries range from, name one country that you think is the most powerful country in those 193 countries. Russia. Love this. United States. India. Okay. France. Powerful in what terms? Brilliant question. Powerful in defense, powerful in financial might, powerful in economic stability, powerful in the context of being able to convince other countries to do what they are asking them to do. That is power, global power. All the NATO countries. Okay. Name a country that you think is a poor country that does not have that power. Kenya? Okay. Brazil? Did I hear Brazil? Uganda? Bangladesh? Okay. Syria? Burkina Faso. Why? Because you like the name. Then? And how do you know this? You've seen? Do you know this is exactly what people in the West think about India? Images. Where are you seeing these images? Who is giving you those images? Which news outlets? A Western news outlet? Are we underdeveloped? How do you know this? Go and ask somebody in France who has never visited India. Say, India, yuck. It's not one thing that defines your country. How many people will say, India, ugh, so dirty. Everybody's so poor in India. Everybody's so dirty in India. Everybody eats street food in India and everybody has Delhi belly in India. You know what Delhi belly is? Yeah, bad stomach, right? So, is Burkina Faso underdeveloped? You don't know. Have you visited? So we don't know. Have you lived there? No. So we don't know. This is why your voice, what's your name? Mishri? How do you spell that? What does it mean? Sugar. Where are you from? Gujarat. Mishri's voice and where Mishri comes from is as important as Unga peru nama? Kirtana. Enge irundumba Tamil Nadula? Oor enga? Nanjanada. Okay, inge irundha Ootila. Okay. This is why Mishri's voice is as important as Kirtana's voice. This is why a Shepherdian's voice is as important as the Nanjanad voice. Get that into your head first. Because if you don't have that in your head, you're not cut out for international relations. You've got to recognize that context of understanding is very different to the context of understanding for somebody from a different country. Tomorrow, we will have a session called Voices Across Borders, where you will be listening to a Pakistani, a Bangladeshi, and a Sri Lankan. And when you listen to those voices, you're going to be speaking to them, you're going to be interacting with them, they're going to be coming online. You're going to be like, Pakistani? How dare she? Bangladeshi? Somebody told me Bangladesh, just now somebody said Bangladesh is an underdeveloped country, poor country. And then you're going to be listening to a Bangladeshi and you're going to be like, Bangladesh. I can guarantee you, they're so much cooler than you guys are. But the reason I mention this is because I think it is important to recognize this diversity in any audience, in any setting. So within this setting now, can you do as Shepherdians, any of the Shepherdians, can you do one thing to make a Nanjanad student feel at ease about their presence here? Sure. Nanjanad students, okay? Seria? Unga per enna sir? Oh, brother, bravo man. Bravo. Kaina, international relations, step 1. How do you make somebody feel at ease? You know why? Because you'll be sitting at a negotiation table. 2 countries will be sitting at a negotiation table. And you can see that before they sit at the table, they will first go and have coffee. And when they have that coffee, they will not talk about work. They will talk about their family, their children. They'll try and understand where the other person's coming from. And then when they sit at that table, suddenly they're not just India and Pakistan. They are not just Israel and Palestine. They are not just United States and Iran. They sit there and they have the conversations that they should have, like how 2 human beings should have. International relations is actually first and foremost about human relationships. If you can have those human relationships, if you can be successful in that, international relations will be the best career to embark on. I was on a flight a couple of months back within Turkey. Now, how many of you have been to Turkey? 1. Anybody else? 2, 3. Okay. Nanjanad students, நீங்க டர்க்கி கண்ட்ரி கேட்டிருக்கீங்களா? என்ன கேட்டிருக்கீங்க டர்க்கி பத்தி? சொல்லுங்க. சொல்லுங்க, தமிழ்ல சொல்லுங்க. பேர் மட்டும் தான் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? ஓகே. இந்த டர்க்கின்னு நான் சொல்லும்போது உங்களுக்கு என்ன ஞாபகம் வருது? கண்ட்ரியா இல்லை இந்த பேர்டா? சொல்லுங்க. பேர்டு கண்ட்ரி தான் வருது. ஓகே. என் தமிழ் அவ்வளோ சுத்தம் இல்லை. I come from Palakkad in Kerala, so I speak a bit of Tamil and a bit of Malayalam. I prefer English, but okay. Turkey as a country, you said you've been. Where did you go? Okay? And Antalya. And Antalya. Only Istanbul and Cappadocia? Pamukkale, yeah, okay. Did you like it? Did you like the country? They were good places? Okay. How many of you know that India and Turkey are not in good relationships? Did you hear about this? India and Turkey are not in a good relationship. Why? Turkey sides with Pakistan. Sorry? They supplied Pakistan with weapons. What else? Okay. So I live in Turkey. Are you upset with me now? Huh? Why? I live in Turkey. No, I contribute to their economy much more than I contribute to my economy. Does it upset you? Okay. It doesn't. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. But let's change it. Let me ask you this. When I live in Turkey, when I speak to Turkish people and they ask me where I am from, I reply Hindustan. Because in Turkey, they refer to India as Hindustan. And so, when I say Hindustan, what do you think Turkish people are saying? Because now they know I'm Indian, right? And they're siding with Pakistan, right? Yeah? So therefore, what do you think the Turkish person is thinking? You know what the Turkish person tells me? Hindustan, marhaba brother, welcome to Turkey, so happy to have you here. This is how they welcome me. Because international relations is first and foremost, as much as it is about human relations, it's also about governments interacting with each other. But it's not about the people interacting with each other. Governments have policies. Governments take a stand. And those stances that governments take are the basis on which international relations is built. So within that context, I have been telling Turkish people that they are using a word from my country, about my country in their daily life without even knowing that it's a word about my country. The word for spices. Tamil spices ku enna solveenga? Spices. Masala nu solluvom. Illa? English spices. Spices? Yeah, that's what we say for spices. Spices. But then we have different kinds of spices, right? So in Turkey, the word for spices is Bharat. The Turkish word for spices is Baharat. Suddenly recognition. I have heard that word. It sounds familiar. Bharat. What is Bharat for us? India. And so the Turkish word in the Turkish language for spices is Baharat. Some of the teachers are Googling. Let me check. So when you ask the Turks, did you know that the name of my country, India, which you call Hindustan, is also referred in our languages as Bharat? They go, what? No. Say, yes. And then they go, but that can't be because it's our word for spices. And I'm like, where do you think those spices came from? So the spice root origins start in India. And when the spices got to Turkey, they were told, hey, listen, these spices come from Bharat. Just call it Bharat. They were not being very creative in their wording. But the funny thing is also this. The bird turkey, what do you think they call the bird turkey in Turkish? they call it Al-Hind. Al-Hind, Hind is the Arabic word for India. Now the funny thing is, when we hear the word Turkey, we may think of either the country or the bird. When they say the word Turkey, it refers to India in Turkish. When they use the word for spices in Turkish, it's Bharat, which is the name of our country. How messed up is this? Can we build on international relations based on some of these very simple perspectives? Can we all come together as countries based on these commonalities? So I was on this flight 2 months back, and I go and sit next to a young man, 18 years of age. His name is Furkan. In Turkey, like when what is your name? Ashika? Ashika, I think we spoke last time, didn't we? Yes. Ashika, when in India, and this is usually in the north of the country, when they will speak to you, they will say Ashika ji, right? J-I, which is with a sense of respect. When you turn it around, you would say Shabri ji, right? In Tamil Nadu, Tamil eppadi solvoma? And the respect vechu peru kooptumo, how do we say it? Vanga ponga we'll say, but peru using the name Shri nu solvoma? Thiru and Tirumati, Tamil. Male and female, Thiru and Tirumati. Okay. So I am Thiru Shabri, something like that. Okay. In Turkey, it's, if it is a male, so let's say my name is Shabri, and I'm Turkish, I would be called Shabri Bey. Bey, B-E-Y, Shabri Bey. And Mishri, who is a woman in Turkish, would be Mishri Hanim, H-A-N-I-M, Hanim. It's basically, Shabri Bey is Mr. Shabri. So when they call you, when they're calling me Shabri Bey, they're actually saying Mr. Shabri. And when they call Mishri, Mishri Hanim, they mean Miss Mishri, right? Miss Mishri. Now the reason I mention this is because that particular respectful tone is always the immediate way that Turks will address you. The moment they hear, it doesn't matter how old you are, the moment they hear that Mishri's name, and they say, oh, Mishri Hanim, how are you? Straight away, they won't even ask you how old you are, where you're from. No, they will add the Hanim directly to it. So I sat next to this gentleman, 18-year-old Furkan Bey, who looks at me and he goes, hello, Abe. And I said, merhaba. Merhaba is hello in Turkish, greetings in Turkish. So I sat next to him and I said, merhaba. And he said, merhaba, Abe. Abe is brother. Okay? So we got talking. And he said, the first question he asked me was, do you speak English? I said, yes, I do. I don't speak much of Turkish. English. He goes, oh, very good. I want to be an English teacher. So I want to practice my English. Is it okay if we speak through this flight? I said, perfect, great. I'm always looking for a good conversationalist on a flight. That way I don't have to put on my earphones, have a conversation. And Furkan Bey starts talking to me, and he says that he's going to visit his father in Adana. Adana is a province in the south of Turkey, and we are flying from Ankara, which is the capital. As we get to Adana, or on the way to Adana, on the flight, Furkan tells me, Shabri Bey, this is my mother. My mother and I, this is our first flight. The first time we are on a flight. I want to ask, teacher, I want your help on this. Inga varingla? Inga vaanga. டீச்சர் உங்கள் பேர்? சுஜாதா. ஷாப்ரி. உங்கள் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஃப்ளைட் எடுத்துருக்காங்களா? How many Shepardians who have not taken a flight? How many Shepardians who have not got on the aeroplane? Do you know where I'm going with this? This India also exists. In fact, this India exists more than your India. So how do we get, Sujata ma'am, how do we get your students to talk about the possibility of a dream? A dream for them to get on an aeroplane. அவங்ககிட்டே கேளுங்க.
நமக்கு கனவுகள் இருக்கு தானே. இப்போ நம்ம நஞ்சுநாடு ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸாக இருக்கிறதுனால நம்ம கனவுகள் இல்லாமல் போயிடுமா? இருக்கும் தானே, நிச்சயமாக கனவுகள் இருக்கும் இல்லையா? Since we are the children from the government school, it doesn't mean that we don't have dreams.
That's right.
And it doesn't mean that the children are so talented. They are like
Right.
they are from the downtrodden families. They do have their dreams, okay, and even they don't have enough facility at home.
I don't want you to speak for them.
Yeah.
I want you to ask them if they have a dream of flying on an aeroplane at any point. Just ask them that.
அதாவது ஃப்ளைட்டில் போகிறதுக்கு விருப்பமாக இருக்கா, அந்த கனவு உங்கள்கிட்ட இருக்கான்னு கேட்குறாரு அவர். இருக்கா? ஆல் ஹேவ் ட்ரீம்ஸ் டு ஃப்ளை இன் த ஃப்ளைட். ஏன் போனோம்?
ஏன் ஃப்ளைட்டில் போகணும்?
ஏன் ஃப்ளைட்டில் போனோம்?
Why do you want to go on a flight? சொல்லுங்க உங்களுக்கு.
வை பாய்ஸ், ஃப்ளைட்டில் போகணும்னு ஆசை இருக்கா?
இருக்கா?
சரி, ஏன் போனோம்? ஏன் போனோம் சொல்லுங்க. ஒன்றும் இல்லை, பேசலாம், வாய் திறந்து பேசலாம். கம் ஆன். ஏன் போனோம்?
Okay. If they don't want to talk, don't worry. Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah.
How many of you will give me in the Shepardian group that first perspective of, Shabri, we'll tell you exactly why we want to fly, without even thinking about it? So in international relations, how do you encourage the other person to talk? How do you get to hear this person's views and perspectives, and only then would you be able to understand where they are coming from? So imagine what Furqan is going through on that flight with me. He is at 40,000 feet, literally and metaphorically. This boy is enjoying the fact that he and his mother are on their first flight ever. So now the cart comes. You know the cart? And as the cart comes with the steward bringing food, on these flights, internal flights in Turkey, you need to have booked your food. I had booked my food. Well, the office had booked my food. I was traveling on official work. So I knew I was going to get a sandwich and a coffee and whatnot. So I asked Furqan if he had ordered his food. He said, he took the menu card, showed me the price of a sandwich. He said, who is going to pay this money in this? So my mother said that when we land, we will have food outside the airport. I said, great. The steward came and I said, listen, this is their first flight. I'd like to buy them a sandwich and a coffee. Can we get them that? She said, yeah, for sure. I paid for it. She gave it to them and told them, this is your first flight, so therefore, a welcome gift from us. And I loved the way she spun it. Brilliant, right? It worked perfectly. But Furqan immediately suspected something here. He looks at me, he's like, no, please, you bought it for us. Can we pay you the money? I said, no, that's fine. So we sit there, we finish the whole thing. Flight lands, and as it's taxiing to the terminal, Furkan looks at me. He's been talking to his mother in Turkish, and then he looks to me and he goes, my mother wants to convey a message to you. I said, yeah, sure. He goes, she said that she enjoyed sipping her coffee in the clouds. Enjoyed sipping her coffee in the clouds. You've all done that, Shepherdians. Nanjanath students have not even gotten on a flight. How do we build that relationship, knowing these disparities exist? And I don't have an answer for it, and I don't want to be giving you lectures on it, but that, for me, is also international relations. In the previous session, all of you, did any of you attend the session with Nishant and Shriyank? Most of you attended, yeah? And you would have heard them talk about relationships. And those relationships are a part of every aspect of work. Whether it's international relations, whether it's corporate relations, whether it's business relations, it's always about relationships building. And I will stop with one other example, and that is this. For the longest period, I have struggled with being in international relations because I don't know about all the 193 countries. You know, Nanjapa, that point that you made earlier, you've seen images of Burkina Faso, and therefore it looks like an underdeveloped country, and therefore it is an underdeveloped country, and you make up your mind on it. Imagine when I work for the United Nations and I'm supposed to be serving countries around the world, and I have no clue what every country is like. I don't think in our lives we will be able, and there are some people who have, and when they do that, they come in the newspapers, who have been able to travel to all 193 countries. In fact, the occupied Palestinian territories is asking to be recognized as a country. Palestine is asking to be recognized as a country, right? Kosovo is a country, but it's not recognized as a country by the United Nations. Somaliland, have you heard of Somalia? Yes, there is a small country called Somaliland right next to Somalia. It is a country that is fighting to break away from Somalia. Has not been recognized by the United Nations. So imagine I am talking about countries that exist as nations and sovereign territories, and then as countries who do not have the recognition of being countries. How do we, across the board then, work on these issues? How do I, as a United Nations official, work on these issues? And I felt the best thing to do is shut up and ask questions. So a lot of these questions in the context of the UN and in diplomacy, the first big rule of thumb is ask questions, do not make statements. When you ask questions, they shouldn't be yes or no questions. They should be questions which are exploratory. And these questions are very difficult to ask, right? But I want you to think of some of those questions in the context of Nanjanath School. So Shepherdians, let's take turns here, and then I will get to the question and answers and before we wrap it up. Let's start with the Shepherdians, and we'll go alternate between Shepherdians and Nanjanath School. First, Shepherdians, what do you want to know about Nanjanath students and school? Anybody from the Shepherdian side? 5 questions each. Yes. Sorry, she raised her hand, I'm going to go to her. You know, in the UN, we also have a rule. Whoever raises their placard first, their flag first, will get the rule. Yeah.
How's your day like?
How's your day like? Does anybody from Nanjanath School, Sujata Miss, I need your help here. Does any of the students from Nanjanath School want to give an answer to this? I need to hear Nanjanath students talk. Bayapadadinga, don't worry, we will translate. Sujata Mass is here, Sajit's here. Sajit, right? Sajit. உங்க ஸ்கூல்ல ஒரு நாள் எப்படி இருக்கும்? School day. Very nice. Yeah. பேசுறீங்களா? அந்த மைக்ரோஃபோன் எடுங்க.
காலையில் நாங்கள் போன உடனே ஸ்பெஷல் கிளாஸ் வைப்பாங்க. அதில் நல்லா டீச்சர்ஸ்லாம் வந்து சொல்லி தந்து.
Okay, ஒரு நிமிஷம். What's your name? What's your name? Dhanushri. Dhanushri from Tamil Nadu, right? So what we are going to do is, Dhanushri, you're going to translate after she finishes every sentence. So can you give her a microphone, please? Okay. So we'll have, are you sisters?
No, I'm Malayali.
Malayali and Tamil illa unna. But yeah, you guys look so alike. Don't they look alike? No, chi.
Teasing me, not even that.
Okay. So we'll go with
Sir, even she is Tamil.
yeah, okay. So, very good. Now, we'll do you. No. We'll do you. We'll do you. Come on. It's all right. Come on. You can take turns. You can take turns. Hold on. Okay, guys. Let's bring it down. Okay? Unga peru enna? Nikita. So, Nikita is going to say one sentence. You will translate. The only reason I want to do this, I don't want Miss Sujata to be, I want each other, I want us to develop these relationships here, right? So, please go ahead. நீங்க ஒரு sentence சொல்லுங்க, அவங்க translate பண்ணுவாங்க. அவங்க பேர் என்னமா? Dhanushri, Nikita, meet each other. Please go ahead.
ஃபஸ்ட்டு போன உடனே நாங்கள் கொஞ்ச நேரம் விளையாடுவோம் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் சேர்ந்து. அதுக்கப்புறம் டீச்சர்ஸ்லாம் வந்துடுவாங்க. கொஞ்ச நேரம் ஸ்பெஷல் கிளாஸ் வைப்பாங்க. ஸ்பெஷல் கிளாஸில் சப்ஜெக்ட் பற்றி சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க, புதுசாக ஏதாவது சொல்லுவாங்க.
Okay, perfect. Dhanushri, translate to English for the Shepardians.
The first thing they do when they reach the school is they play for some time, and after that when the teachers
Guys,
arrive,
listen to a perspective about students who don't come from Good Shepherd. Get to know. If you're here in international relations discussion, I want you to hear. Otherwise, feel free to walk out. Go ahead.
and when the teachers arrive, they start the special classes, and then they teach new things for them every day.
Okay, perfect. That's a good answer. Thank you. That's a good answer. A second question. Nikita, now you get to ask. Sujata Miss, please tell Nikita that she can ask any question she wants to know from a Shepardian.
எப்படி அவங்க வீட்டை விட்டுட்டு இங்கே வந்து எல்லாரும்
Aha, what a question.
How are we like staying
Wait,
away
wait.
from?
Yeah. Go ahead.
How do we feel like of being away from home?
How does it feel like to be away from home? Because they are day scholars. Yeah. Because they are day scholars. La? They go back home every evening. Who wants to answer that question?
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'll answer this in Tamil for them.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so நான் வந்து இங்கே தேர்ட்லேருந்தே படிக்கிறேன். ஸ்டார்டிங் ஒரு அட்லீஸ்ட் 6 months நீங்கள் எப்படியும் இங்கே உங்களை நல்லா கம்ஃபர்டபுளாக வச்சுப்பாங்க. பட் ஸ்டார்டிங் ஒரு 6 months அந்த ஹோம் சிக்னஸ் கண்டிப்பாக இருக்கும். லைக் என்ன நடந்தாலும் வீட்டுக்கு போகணுமே, வீட்டு அம்மா சமையல் சாப்பிடணுமே எல்லாம் இருக்கும். பட் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும்போது அதெல்லாம் ஒரு 6 months பீரியட் தான். அதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாம் மறந்துடும். அப்புறம் அவுட்டிங் வரும், அது வரும், செலிப்ரேஷன்ஸ் வரும். ஸோ அதுலலாம் எல்லாம் மறந்து ஜாலியாக இருந்துருவாங்க. ஸோ அதான்.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, I want a Shepardian boy who thinks he is cool to ask a question to get to know from Nanjanath students. Who wants to take the lead on this? Anybody wants to ask Nanjanath students from this side about what life is like in Nanjanath? Or you think you're cool enough to not want to know these things? No, not you. Would you like to ask? I'm being an extremely difficult man right now. I know this. No? I'm looking at this group of 5 people. Go ahead. What's your name?
Hian.
Hian, where are you from?
I'm from Mumbai.
From Mumbai? Okay.
So I would like to ask them how long the school hours are and what they do in school except studying.
Okay, what they do in school except studying. I mean, this is all very much about the first day or what is a day like for them in Clues school. So question null and void as per the UN is concerned. Ask
Okay.
another question. Try.
Um,
Make an attempt. I'm not asking you about math, physics, chemistry, French, none of that, right?
Yeah.
This is just about getting to know another human being. What else do you want to know about them?
like what kind of things they study except just normal
Why does
stuff?
everything have to go back to studying? Is there nothing else in your life apart from studying? How are you doing in school? Okay, you, go ahead.
I'd want to know if it's common for them to go out of their school environment like this and go to other educational places.
Great question. What's your name?
Rohan.
Rohan, where are you from? Hyderabad. Okay, so who's going to translate? Sajid, can you translate that for them, please? Thanks.
இப்போ அந்த பையன் என்ன கேட்டான்னா உங்கள் ஸ்கூலை விட்டு நீங்கள் ஈஸியாக வெளியே போயிட்டு படிக்க முடியுமா ஆர் உங்கள் ஸ்கூலை விட்டு ஈஸியாக நீங்கள் வெளியே போய்
வெளியே இல்லை இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு அட்மாஸ்பியரில்
ஓகே
இந்த மாதிரி இங்கே ஸ்கூல் இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்கூலில் வந்து டு இன்டராக்ட் லைக் திஸ்.
ஸோ இப்போ நான் வந்து உங்கள் ஸ்கூலில் படிக்கிறேன்னா இப்போ நான் வந்து உங்கள் ஸ்கூல்லேருந்து லைக் நம்ம ஸ்கூல்லேருந்து ஈஸியாக வெளியே வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்கூலில் ஈஸியாக வந்து லைக் கம்யூனிகேஷன் இல்லை பேச அவங்கள்ட்ட பழக இல்லை ஈஸியாக முடியுமா உங்களால்?
இல்லை முடியாது. ஏன்? They are saying no, we can't. We are not able to do that. Why? சொல்லுங்கப்பா. உங்க பேர் என்ன?
மதுரவேல்.
மதுரவேல், கதிரவேல். They are twins, huh? Yeah, go ahead, மதுரவேல்.
சார் அதாவது இங்கே வந்து எங்களுக்கு அட்மாஸ்பியர் செட் ஆகாத காரணம் வந்து நம்பர் 1 இங்கிலீஷ். நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்துட்டு நாங்கள் ஸ்டேட் போர்ட்லேயே படிச்சிருக்கோம். இங்கே வந்து ஐசிஎஸ்சி சிபிஎஸ்சி அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். அதனால கொஞ்சம் டஃப்பாக இருக்கும் சார்.
கொஞ்சம் டஃப்பாக இருக்கும். ரைட். ஓகே. அப்போ நான் உங்ககிட்ட கேட்கட்டா? மதுரவேல் நீங்களே பேசிட்டு இருக்கீங்க. ஸோ உங்ககிட்டே கேட்குறேன். அப்போ ஏன் நீங்கள் ஏன் இந்த இந்த 2 நாளுக்கு இங்கே வர யூ டுக் தட் டிசிஷன் ஏன் வந்தீங்க?
சார் இவங்களோட ஸ்கூல் லைஃப் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்க்க வந்தோம் சார்.
ரைட். You know what he said? He said he wanted to know about your school life and that's why he came. But he says, I don't speak English. The language is a problem. Here we are studying in state board. You guys study in ICSE and IB and IGCSE and all of that. That's not our background. So I asked him, why did you come then? He said, I came so that I can understand what your school life is like. Give him a round of applause, guys. Can I tell you something? Today, when you see rich countries around the world make the statements that they make, the leaders of these rich countries are usually which gender? Men. Sometimes it sucks to be a man. I tell you these, men are the reasons for most conflicts and wars in the world. Men. Okay? Drill it into your head. All right? It may not affect you now because you're privileged, but you know what? He's going to go home and think about those wars. He's going to go home and think about today's conversation. He's going to go home and tell his parents, I took the microphone and said this. You will go to your dorm and still be like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Right? And you know why? Because it doesn't affect you because this is a regular situation in your life. Okay. Within that context, now that Madhuravel has said that he wants to know about your school, thanks to that question from Rohan, we want to continue this round and I want to do 2 more such questions, right? We'll go back to Nanjanad. Nanjanad students, another question from you about Good Shepherd. No, Nanjanad students. I'll come to you after that, okay? Why don't you encourage the Nanjanad students? உங்க பேர் என்னம்மா? கீர்த்தி. நீங்க கீர்த்தனா. நீங்களும் கீர்த்தனாவா? 2 கீர்த்தனா. ஓகே. Kirtika and Kirtana. Okay. Kirtika, சொல்லுங்க.
உங்க ஸ்கூல் லைஃப் எப்படி இருக்கு?
உங்க ஸ்கூல் இதெல்லாம் பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? வேற கொஸ்டின் கேளுங்க. வேற கொஸ்டின் கேளுங்க. எது வேணாலும் கேட்கலாம். வீட்டை பத்தியும் கேட்கலாம், அவங்க லைஃப்பை பத்தி கேட்கலாம், எது வேணாலும் கேட்கலாம். நீங்க கேட்பீங்களா?
வீட்டுக்கு அனுப்பிடுவாங்களா சார்?
மைக்ரோஃபோன் எடுத்துக்கங்க.
சார் இங்கேருந்து ஸ்டடிக்கு இங்கே வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் வீட்டுக்கு அனுப்பிவிடுவாங்களா சார்?
அப்பப்போ அவுட்டிங் தருவாங்க. ஓகே.
உங்களுக்கு டிசம்பர்ல லீவ் இருக்குல்ல கிறிஸ்மஸ்க்கெல்லாம் அப்படியும் நாமளும் வீட்டுக்கு போகிறோம்.
Okay. So something in the same line. I'm not going to translate that, right? Because I think I want more questions to come out from them. Anybody else? Nanjanad students? Where? I don't want to. I think we are stuck on this question about what is life and how is school and.
சார் கவர்மெண்ட் ஸ்கூலுக்கும் குட் ஷெப்பர்ட் ஸ்கூலுக்கும் இது சப்ஜெக்ட்லாம் காமனாக இருக்குமா சார்?
Would government school and Good Shepherd school subjects be the same? Who wants to answer that from the Shepherdian side? Okay, Sajid, you go for it. You want to answer this in Tamil if you want to. Otherwise, whatever you're comfortable in.
இப்போ நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சப்ஜெக்ட்ன்றது சேம் தான், ஃபிசிக்ஸ் கெமிஸ்ட்ரி சைக்காலஜி அது மாட்டோம். டீச்சிங் வே மெத்தட் மட்டும் மேபி டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக இருக்கும். ஆனால் சொல்லித்தரது என்னென்னா கண்டென்ட் வில் பி த சேம். இப்போ வந்து நீங்கள் வந்து 10th வந்து ஸ்டேட் போர்ட் படித்து எங்கள் ஸ்கூல்லையும் ஸ்டேட் போர்ட் இருந்துச்சுன்னா சொல்லித்தர வே மட்டும்தான் டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக இருக்குமோ தவிர சொல்லித்தர கண்டென்ட் வில் பி த சேம். மேக்ஸில் வந்து இப்போ எப்படி நம்ம சம் போடுறோம், அந்த சம்மை வந்து நாங்கள் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் வேல போடுவோம், நீங்கள் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் வேல போடுவீங்க, ஆனால் ஆன்சர் சேம் தானே. ஸோ அதான் நான் சொல்ல வரேன். ஓகே,
Right. Very good. Excellent. So the question was with regards to the way it is taught in school, right? Sujata, miss, please. Oh, really? Please go ahead. When, miss? Which years?
I was a teacher in chemistry from 1999 to 2004 in Good Shepherd. Then I got the government job. Then I went to the government school. I don't find any difference between the subject or something. But as he said, the technology, the way of teaching, and those things, really, there is a difference. There is a sure difference.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Shepherdians, here's your one last chance to ask Nanjanad students a life-changing question. A question that will mean that tomorrow there will be peace in Gaza. There will be peace in Sudan. There will be peace in South Sudan. There will be peace in Venezuela. There will be peace between Cambodia and Thailand. There will be peace between India and Pakistan. Ask that question, Shepherdians, because you guys come from one of the best schools in India. So ask a life, before you raise your hands, make sure, and I will call on you, and I'm happy to call on you because I do not underestimate any Shepherdian. Make sure you're asking a life-defining question. Go ahead. You've had your hand raised for a long time.
So would they like to come back for such events to our school again ever?
Really?
Yeah, it's a life-changing thing.
Okay, I'll ask them that question.
today,
Fine.
then they'll
Okay,
come
I'll ask
back.
them that question. Shepherdians, you have another chance for a better question. Okay, wait, there are. All right, here we're going to, and then I'll come to you as well. Okay, so we'll get 2-3 questions. So, okay, all right, everybody come back. Everybody come back. Okay, so the first question that was asked here was, just repeat. Would they like to come back for other events or things like that to Good Shepherd? Okay, that's the first question. A second question here, go ahead.
One thing they would want to change in their school or wish to have in their school.
Why are you all stuck on schools? Life?
Okay, in their life. One thing they would wish for.
To change in their life.
Yes.
Whew. Okay, all right. What's your name? Samaira, where are you from? Mumbai.
One dream destination they want to go.
One
during their
dream
ve-
destination. I like that question. Very nice. Okay, one thing they want to change in life. Would they come back to school? One dream destination. Another one.
What's one thing that they will do in their life that would make their parents proud of them and them
Ah,
happy?
nice. Lovely question. Summer House Prefect wants to ask a question. I'll come.
Seeing the difference between us and Nanjanad people, how do you, like, what does it make you feel, and what can we do to help in?
No, I will not translate that question. It's a good intentioned question, but it's a question that cannot be asked.
If they were given a chance to change something in their life, what would it be?
If they were given a chance to. Okay, right. All right. So, Sajid.
Can I talk, like,
I'll come.
ask them in Tamil?
Yeah, sure.
ஸோ நான் வந்து இங்கே கேட்க வந்தது என்னென்னா, எங்கள் ஸ்கூலால் உங்கள் படிப்புலையோ இல்லை லைஃப்லையோ ஏதாச்சும் ஒன்று சேஞ்ச் ஆகணும்னா அது என்னவாக இருக்கும்? ஒன்றும் இல்லைனாலும் பரவாயில்ல, எனி திங் இஸ் ஃபைன்.
Okay. Very good. So that's another question. Yeah.
One small thing they do in their everyday life which gives them happiness.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead. Yeah.
One experience in their life which was a life lesson for them.
Sorry, one?
One experience which was a life lesson for them.
Which is a life lesson for them. Okay. We have got such excellent questions. And now, for the last 5 to 10 minutes, Shepherdians, listen, learn. Okay? If you think you're the United States of schools, I want you to listen to the people of Vanuatu, a small island state in the Pacific Islands that only has a population of about 10,000 people and is dependent on a lot of support from around the world. Did I hear Kiribati? Yeah, something like that. Vanuatu, Kiribati, small island states. So listen, learn their perspectives. Sajid, I need your help on this. There have been many good questions. So let's ask each one of these questions one by one. Why don't you come up? We will start with the question. What's your name, brother? Hirav. Where are you from, Hirav? Gujarat. Gujarat? Rajkot. Yeah. Okay, so Hirav's question. Hirav, Nanjanad students, உங்களுக்கு நிறைய questions இருக்கு. Okay, so we're going to have all of those questions asked to you and free-ஆ பேசலாம். Okay, and Sajid will translate every question to get your perspectives. Okay, Sajid, first question from. No.
உங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் இது மட்டும் ஸ்கூலில் ஈவெண்ட் நடத்துகிறோம்ல, இது மட்டும் நிறையா ஈவெண்ட்ஸில் ஜாயின் பண்ணணுன்னு ஆசையாக இருக்கா? லைக் திரும்பி வருவீங்களா? யாராச்சும் ஆன்சர் பண்ணுறீங்களா? லைக் ஃபுல் தமிழில் நான் ஐ வில் ட்ரான்ஸ்லேட். எனி ஒன்? எல்லாரும்?
Good point. If anybody wants to speak in English, they can speak.
Anybody wants to speak in, like, இங்கிலீஷில் பேசணும்னாலும் பேசலாம். யாருமே இங்கே ஜட்ஜ் பண்ண மாட்டோம். We all are family. லைக் எல்லாருமே இங்கே ஒன்று. We all come to the end as students. That's it. Thank you.
Hey. Everything was okay till he said thank you, and then I lost him. This is when the Good Shepherd cool factor hits in. Why, man, you guys get so cool? And this happens only with the boys.
Yeah. So, யாராச்சும் ஆன்சர் பண்ணுறீங்களா?
Who will answer? Come on. Nanjanad, we don't have too much time, but we need everybody to answer. Priya பேசுறீங்களா? Priya பேசுங்க. Come on, give the microphone to Priya.
திரும்பி இந்த ஈவெண்ட்டுக்கு வரணுமா வரக்கூடாதா? அதுதான் இது மட்டும் நாங்கள் ஈவெண்ட் உனக்கு என்ஜாய் பண்ணுறதானே இதை, அதை மட்டும் சொல்லு தமிழில் நீ சொல்லு.
Wait, who is going to talk? Come on, people, come on. Good Shepherd, Shepherdians, can you please encourage those sitting next to you to say a few words?
இங்கே பாரு, நாங்கள் நடத்துகிற இது மட்டும் ஈவெண்ட்ஸுக்கு நாங்கள் வந்து எல்லாத்தையும் இன்வைட் பண்ணுறோம்ல, நீங்கள் திரும்பி வர ஆசைப்படுறீங்களா வரலையா?
Go, say it.
எந்த ஈவென்ட் கொடுத்தாலும் வருவோம். எந்த ஈவென்ட் கொடுத்தாலும் வருவோம். எப்போ கூப்பிட்டாலும் வருவோம்.
Wow.
Whenever we call, they will come. That's what they mean.
That's your ally. In international relations, you need allies. You always need allies, because as a single school, you will never be able to achieve anything. As a single human being, as a single country, you will never be able to achieve. You are all living in a very interdependent world, right? So that's your ally right there. What were the other questions? Okay, from Hira, we went to Samaira. Samaira, yes. The question from Samaira was?
One thing they would want in their life that is different and something they would like to change.
Can you like repeat?
One thing that they would like to change in their life.
ஒரு விஷயம் உங்கள் லைஃப்பில் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணணுன்னா அது என்னவா இருக்கும்? லாங்குவேஜ். That's a great answer.
Brilliant answer.
Oh my God.
ஆனா ஏன் wait. ஆனா ஏன் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணுவீங்க? உங்க பேர் என்னன்னு சொன்னீங்க? ஸ்ரீஜா. ஸ்ரீஜா ஏன் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணுவீங்க? Tamil is the okay, who is not from South India? Okay, all of you remember this? Tamil is the oldest living language in the world. And Srija just said that if there is one thing she could change, it is language. Okay? I know, no, hold on. Teachers, this is the problem. Teachers, don't get involved. The agency of the answer is not with you now. It's with the students. Okay? Teachers always want to come in and explain. Okay. So, I go back to Srija. Srija, language change பண்ணனும்னா என்ன? அதுக்கு அர்த்தம் என்ன? What did you mean by that? இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்கூலுக்கு வந்தா இங்கிலீஷ் லாங்குவேஜ் வேணும். ஓகே. உங்களுக்கு இங்கிலீஷ் ஒரு பாடமா? Is it a course? ஓகே. இங்கிலீஷ் நீங்க படிக்கிறீங்களா?
படிக்கிறோம்.
ஓகே, நீங்க படிக்கிறீங்க. ஆனா ஏன் இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேச மாட்டீங்கறாங்க? பயம். Okay. Friends, brothers, sisters, Shepherdians, listen. What she just said was, they actually study English at school. She said, I want to change my language, which meant she wants to be able to speak in English when she comes to Good Shepherd, right? But to come to Good Shepherd and to be able to speak that language requires her to be confident in being able to speak and communicate in English. But to speak in that, she says, I am scared. She actually studies English. But I'm scared. Can you imagine the number of governments who sit at the United Nations and don't say a word because they just want to survive? They just want to survive. Because they are poor countries and they do not want to get involved in all those big boys fights. And there are boys and girls like that even in Good Shepherd who will keep quiet and not say anything simply because that is not their battle. Thank you, Srija. After Samara, we went to, what was it? Who spoke after Samara? You spoke? Or was it? What's your name? Rupika. Okay, dream vacation.
உங்களோட கனவு ஓகேவா? வெக்கேஷன், நம்ம தீபாவளி வெக்கேஷன் அது இதுன்னு வருதுல்ல, உங்களோட லைக் ட்ரீம் வெக்கேஷன் எது? லைக் உங்கள் கனவு எங்கே போகணுன்ட்டு. ஓகே, ஒரு வெக்கேஷன் கிடச்சா, லீவ் கிடச்சா
எந்த
இடத்துக்கு போகணும்? லைக் நான் துபாய் போகணும், நீங்கள் லைக் தட். புரியுதா?
Not bad, guys.
கிரிக்கெட் கிரவுண்ட்
எங்க?
சிதம்பரம் ஸ்டேடியம், சென்னை.
சிதம்பரம் ஸ்டேடியம், சென்னை. Do you know where the best cricketers come from in India? This has got nothing about Chennai and all that. The best cricketers come from those who have played gully cricket. The people who have really struggled, first with tennis ball, then on the tennis ball they'll put tape, then that tape, see, these boys understand me, right? And then once that tape wears out, then they will stick it back together again. Then they will get plastic ball with tapes on it. And when that's not enough, socks one, they will put socks on the ball. No, here you guys get cork ball straight away, right? Chidambaram Stadium he wants to go to in Chennai. How many of you have been to Chidambaram Stadium? Who are the cricket fans here? The boys. Yeah, and the girls as well. Cricket fans? Yeah, cricket fans, you guys, who plays the best cricket in school? Yeah, does anybody want to go to Chidambaram Stadium? Learn, learn, listen, learn, Chidambaram Stadium. I want one more answer. Let's stick to Nanjanad for the same question. One dream destination for their holiday. Yeah, yeah.
Sir, I want to visit Dubai.
Dubai. Very good. Yeah, Dubai. Why Dubai? Why Dubai?
Sir, because Dubai there is Burj Khalifa building.
Yeah.
And commonly we know that there will commonly see in cities there is building, but in Dubai Burj Khalifa is the building, it has cities.
Wow. Good Shepherd, listen and learn. Listen and learn.
In Burj
Well
Khalifa we can explore whole cities.
Very nice. Okay. I love the confidence, huh? Well, what do you think changed? இவ்ளோ confidence உங்களுக்கு பேசுறதுக்கு எங்க இருந்து வந்துச்சு?
Sir, I have inspired by these students.
Wow. Shepherdians, say thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
My God, man. Yeah. Okay, such an undignified thank you. Like, thank you. Okay. Thank you, brother. Sit down. And can I get so after that we went to, yeah? Nikita. Yeah. What was the question, Nikita?
What is one thing that they would do in their life that could possibly satisfy their parents and make them happy?
Sajid, translate. Pa.
ஒரு விஷயம் உங்களால் முடிஞ்சது உங்கள் அம்மா அப்பாவுக்கு வந்து லைக் நிறைவேற்றுற மாதிரி அது என்னது?
பெருமை. சரி, Sajid, you finished. Come on, guys, come on.
ஒரு விஷயம் நீங்க பண்ண உங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு ரொம்ப பெருமையா இருக்கும். ஒரு விஷயம் என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க?
சொல்லுங்க.
படிச்சு நல்ல பொசிஷனுக்கு வந்தா பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு பெருமையா இருக்கும் சார்.
எந்த மாதிரி பொசிஷன் வரணும் உங்களுக்கு?
அவங்க படிக்க வச்சது வேஸ்ட் ஆகாம
எந்த மாதிரி பொசிஷன் உங்களுக்கு என்ன what என்ன ஆகணும் உங்களுக்கு?
சார் பேரண்ட்ஸ் என்ன நினைச்சு படிக்க வைக்கிறாங்களோ அதை படிச்சு
Okay, translate.
Whatever her parents wish for her to do, she wants to do that and excel.
She is happy to do whatever her parents want her to do. Huh? Yeah, clap. I was the first guy when I came out of Good Shepherd. I said what my parents say, if they say left, I'll go right. You know why? Because we are so freaking privileged, man. You know why? Because tomorrow, no matter what happens, our parents will have our backs. I have given my parents so much tension, so much difficulty, but no matter what, they've got my back. Exactly. I did engineering and then I said, to hell with this, I'm going to do what I want to do. And they had my back because I went to do journalism and they went, journalism? Who does journalism? Thank you for the question. Next, who was after that we had, you asked a question. What was your question? Okay, sure. So the question was, if you'd get a chance to change something in life, what would you change?
ஒரு விஷயம் உங்க வாழ்க்கையில சேஞ்ச் பண்ணனும்னா எதுவா இருக்கும்?
You'll say? No, you've already answered. I want somebody else to take the floor. நீங்க சொல்வீங்களா? Okay, come here. She was also going to answer? She was trying to. Okay, சொல்லுங்க.
சார் எங்களோட ஏழ்மையை மாற்றணும்னு நினைக்கிறோம் சார். Poverty.
Poverty.
To change our ஏழ்மை சார். ஐ மீன் நாங்கள் இப்போ கஷ்டப்படாமல் இருக்கணுங்கிற அது மட்டும் தான் என் லைஃப்பில் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணணும்னு எனக்கு ஆசை சார்.
You guys got that? சத்தமா சொல்லுப்பா. Give him the microphone.
எங்களோட ஏழ்மையை மாற்றணும். இப்போ நாங்கள் கஷ்டப்பட்டுட்டு இருக்கோம். அந்த கஷ்டம் இல்லாமல் நாங்கள் நல்ல நிலைமையில வாழணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டோம். அது மட்டும் தான் என் லைஃப் நினைக்கிறேன்.
Translate, Sajid.
You know, they are struggling in life a lot, okay? What we get easily, they don't get that easily, okay? That is very, very hard for them. Even if it's a small 100 rupees,
Sajid,
like
first just translate.
Like,
be true to the, always a translator's job is to be true to the translation.
so he wants to change one thing, which is that he's the poverty line, okay? He does not want to be the same. He wants to like change that.
Okay, all right. அதை சேஞ்ச் பண்ணி நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க அதை வச்சு? நீங்க சேஞ்ச் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னீங்க, எதுக்கு சேஞ்ச் பண்ணலாம்?
சார் எங்கள் ஊரில் எங்களை யாரும் அந்த அளவுக்கு நம்ப மாட்டாங்க சார். ஏதாவது கடன் தரணும்னா எங்களை நம்பி யாருமே தர மாட்டாங்க. இப்போ நம்ம நல்ல நிலைமையில் இருந்தால் என்னை நம்பி யார் வேணால் தருவாங்க. எங்களை நம்பிக்கிறதுக்கு இப்போ யாருமே இல்லை. அதுக்கு காரணம் எங்களோட ஏழ்மை மட்டும்தான். அது போக்குறதுக்காக மட்டும்தான் சார்.
உங்க பேர் என்னப்பா?
தரணேஷ்.
Dharnesh. Just give a big hand for Dharnesh and we'll get it translated. I want one of the ladies to translate this. Translate it with sincerity.
Basically, he wants to change it because no one like in his village, no one like trusts them because they're poor or something like that.
He said no one trusts them because
And
they're
they
poor.
don't give
They don't give them loans.
loans also.
Right? And that's the kind of issues someone like him and his family and his perspective, that's what they're coming from, this is what they're going through. Now, you know, 9 out of 10 times, you can also walk out of this room after having heard everything and go, yeah, what the hell, man, who bloody cares? My life is my life and I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. But tomorrow, you know what? He may be the guy that you're going to be watching on TV. He may be the guy who you're going to end up employing. He may be the guy whose perspectives that you end up contributing to, or he may be the guy who will be a part of your supply chain in your business. Recognize these things as you get to know one another. Was there any other question? There was one question. What was your question?
What do they do one thing in their life, their routine life, they get happiness?
Okay. So we'll conclude with that. Was that the last question? And you had one. What was your question? An experience that taught them a lesson. Okay, Sajid, 2 more questions. Can we translate this?
One thing they do in their everyday life, that gives them happiness.
ஒரு விஷயம் நீங்கள் எல்லா நாளும் பண்ணுறது சந்தோஷத்தை கொடுக்கறது, அந்த விஷயம் அது என்னது?
ஒரு விஷயம். One more time. He's asking you.
ஒரு விஷயம் நீங்கள் எல்லா நாளுமே பண்ணுறது, அது உங்களுக்கு சந்தோஷத்தை கொடுக்குது, அது என்னது? பாய்ஸ் வந்து விளையாடுறதுன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, ஓகேவா? The boys told saying that for them it's about playing.
School days.
School days.
School days make you happy.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. And the last question. Please repeat your question again. What's your name? Geet. Wow. What a name. Geet from Jab We Met. Go ahead, Geet. Okay. An experience that made them learn a life lessons.
உங்கள் லைஃப்பில் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பாடம் கிடச்சிச்சின்னா அனுபவம் அது என்னது?
டீச்சர் நீங்களேம்மா. சஜித், வாட் இஸ் த நீ போய் தமிழ் படிப்பா. ஃப்ரெஞ்ச் படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கியா? இல்லை, நல்ல நேரம் தமிழே போய் படி.
கண்ணா, இந்த நாளில் உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையில் நடந்த ஒரு மிகச்சிறந்த அனுபவம், உங்கள் லைஃபையே மாற்றின அந்த அனுபவம் என்னன்னு கேட்குறாங்க. ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கிறீங்களா?
தேங்க்யூ. Yes. What is the one thing that you've experienced that's changed your life? Okay, Sari. Can I give, let me do you a favor so that we get them to talk. In the experience, இப்ப நீங்க இங்க வந்திருக்கீங்களே, இந்த experience ஒரு life changing experience? I'm asking, is this experience a life changing experience? Yes ன்னு சொன்னா போதாது. You have to explain why. ஏன் இது life changing experience? அதுதான் எனக்கு கேட்கணும். Okay? சொல்றீங்களா? இல்ல. இன்னைக்கு வந்தது ஒரு Give it to Nikita. Yeah.
ஏன்னா இங்கே வந்து நாங்கள் நிறைய தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டோம். அடுத்தது எங்கே போய் என்ன பண்ணணுன்னாலும் நாங்கள் பண்ணுவோம்.
ஓகே, என்ன தெரிஞ்சிருக்கீங்க?
அந்த நிறைய கிளாஸ் எடுத்தாங்க இன்னைக்கு. ஜேர்னலிஸ்ட்னா என்ன, குளோபல் வார்மிங்னா என்ன, அதெல்லாம் இவ்வளோ நாள் தெரியாமல் இருந்தது இன்னைக்கு தெரிஞ்சு. அப்புறம் இவங்க கிட்ட எப்படி இங்கிலீஷில் கற்றுக்கிறது, பயம் இல்லாமல் எப்படி பேசுறதுன்னு கற்றுக்கிட்டோம்.
வா. So she said, today, as a result of coming here, I've learned about journalism, I've learned about so many subjects, I've learned how to speak without having fear, you know, how to have that conversation without fear. Brilliant, Nikita. Thank you so much, ma. Now, I know that this was a course on diplomacy, or this was a session on diplomacy and international relations, but I tell you something, this is really what international relations is about. I have not gone out of script at all. If you thought I went out of script, you're so mistaken. This is my day-to-day job. I work with Syrian refugees in Turkey. I don't speak Turkish, I don't speak Arabic. I have translators translating for me. And why did I tell Sajid, be sincere and truthful in your translation? Because when the translator is translating, they will say exactly what you're saying. When you sit in the United Nations, there are 6 international languages. All those who find French boring, raise your hands. Okay. Do you find French boring? Raise your hands. You guys don't take French, right? The boys are like, bleh. What are you talking about? Get into your head. French is the second most common language in the world, and, sorry? Mandarin? It's only because of China. I go by number of countries. That is the reason why they decided to have French, Chinese, English, Russian, Spanish, and Arabic in the United Nations, but not Hindi. There are more Hindi speakers than there are Arabic speakers. Did you know this? However, Hindi is not in the United Nations. Why? Because the number of countries that speak Hindi is very limited to 4 or 5. Where do they speak Hindi apart from India? Pakistan, Urdu. Nepal, Nepali. Bhutan, Bhutanese. Sri Lanka, very nice. Which champion? Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, they speak Tamil and Sinhala. Bangladesh, Bangla, Bengali. Where else do they speak Hindi? Only in India? No. They speak Hindi in Fiji. There are parts of East Africa, in Kenya and Uganda, where they speak Hindi. What is funny? So there are parts of East Africa, in Kenya and Uganda, as a result of the Indian diaspora that speak Hindi. Or they speak a dialect of Hindi. So for instance, if you go to Mauritius, 51% of the population of Mauritius is Indian origin. And there they mainly speak Bhojpuri. In Mauritius. So if you want to go on a holiday to Mauritius, and if you're from Uttar Pradesh, be ready to speak in Bhojpuri. Okay? In fact, they also have a Tirtha Ganga in Mauritius, where they do exactly the same rituals that we do as Hindus in the Ganga here in India. So my point is, the countries that speak Hindi or its dialects, associated dialects, are very few. Okay, now within this context, it is so very important to therefore recognize that French is a very important language. I speak, out of the 6 UN international languages, I speak only one, and that is English. And therefore, my chances of going up the ladder fast in the UN is actually very limited. So I'm actually telling you about my weakness. My weakness is that I don't speak other international languages. And that weakness actually stops me from taking things forward. So for those people who want to do business in India and you want to limit it to India, great. For those people who want to take their business outside of India, then learn international languages. If you think everything will work with your English, not happening. Because then you will need a translator, like I used Dhanashri and Sajid and all of them. The translators will have to come in handy. And you better find yourself a translator who really cares about you and your business as much as you do. Otherwise, your business, keep it to India. Now they're going to start direct flights between India and China. Did you hear about this? Yeah? Start learning Chinese, guys. Because you know what? The Chinese are going to start learning Hindi. I tell you, at any given point of time, they say about 500,000 Chinese are learning 500,000 at any given point of time on a rotational basis. The compounding basis that we heard about in the last session are learning to speak in English. The moment they recognize that India is the market that we need to flood with Chinese products, they're going to start learning Hindi. And then you will have the Chinese speaking in Hindi, and you guys will go, Ajaba, I don't understand what you're saying. So, you could start with Ni Hao. Moshi Moshi is not Chinese, man. See, sure. Again, the boys think they're so cool. Ni Hao, Ni Hao, Ni Hao. Say it, Ni Hao. Ni Hao, Ni Hao Ma. Ni Hao Ma is, how are you? But when you answer the phone, now, Ni Hao is hello, but when you answer the phone, Akshita, how do they say hello when they answer the phone? No. No, don't give me Singaporean Chinese. Because when a Chinese person answers the phone, they don't say Ni Hao or Ni Hao Ma, they say Wei. Wei, W-E-I, Wei, hello. You do have Chinese friends. Of course you do have. You're Singaporean. Of course you have Chinese friends. They say Wei. All of these nuances are important if you want to learn, if you want to do business in China or with the Chinese. Keep this in mind as you think about international relations, as you think about business relations, as you think about how to engage with nationalities and other than your own. Sometimes you may need to have to learn to speak in Tamil if you want to do business in Tamil Nadu. In Kerala, we just get very happy. Yeah? And we are perfectly fine in whatever language you want to speak. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to learn Malayalam. Maybe pick up a few words in Malayalam like Namaskaram. The South Indians pick up a few words in Hindi. Yeah, Tamil is an old language, but that doesn't mean you can't pick up Hindi, right? So international relations, my dear friends, in our case as Indians, starts in India. You don't have to go out of India to be fluent in international relations. We can start in India because we are a combination of so many different languages, perspectives, cultures, faiths, ethnicities, race, all of that is intertwined in who we are as Indians. If you think you can do well amongst Indians, getting to know each other better as Indians, I think that itself is your first step to a successful international relations career. How much time do we have? About 20 minutes. I'll now open it up for questions.
I wanted to ask, how did you get into the UN?
How did I get into the UN? I studied to be an engineer, sucked at it, hated engineering, studied it for 5 years. Engineering is a 4 years degree. While I was in my 5th year, I was doing 3rd year courses. So which means if I really wanted to finish engineering, I would have taken another year. So which means I would have taken 6 years to complete a 4 years degree, hated it, and therefore decided to quit. When I quit, and I liked it. Who was saying, oh, I loved Gokul's perspective on the, there's no quitter. I don't think so. I will stop saying that. I didn't quit. I dropped out of engineering and decided to pursue my passion, and my passion was international relations, right? Because I loved the world, I loved international relations, I loved global politics, I was always reading the news, and so I decided to pursue international relations and journalism. I went on, I did broadcast journalism. I studied to be a journalist on television and radio, okay? And then, instead of journalism, I decided to transfer myself entirely into the international relations because I was so influenced by the United Nations and what it stands for. I have friends from all over the world. I have amazing conversations with them. In fact, my most anxious moments are when you put me in a room full of Indians, which is like right now. Right? Because I worry if I will be judged for not being Indian enough. And that is an insecurity of mine. And that insecurity also led me to pursue a subject which got me engaged with people from around the world who didn't necessarily judge me for the way I looked, the way I spoke, the way I communicated, who just wanted to know the subject matter from me. And international relations was a perfect avenue for that, and the UN is the perfect setting for that. Yeah? Anything else?
Sir, I have a question.
You have a question. Nanjapa and then here.
So, considering your expertise in the IOM, what is your stance upon Donald Trump's policy of mass deportation for illegal immigrants?
Okay. So as the International Organization for Migration, or as the UN will always say this. Any country, any and every country, how many of you care about migration in India? Oh, why? Why do you care about migration in India? Okay, I'll just, yeah. Okay, fine. What else? You raised your hand as well? Somebody raised their hand as to why migration is important for India. Is migration important for India? Migration as in not birds migrating, huh? As in human beings migrating. Is migration important for India? Yes, Shiv? Tell me why migration is important for India, Shiv. Yeah?
Because many people leave their homeland, which makes them forget their mother tongue.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one reason.
Okay. Many people leave their homeland. Which homeland? India homeland or Tamil Nadu homeland or Karnataka homeland or Uttar Pradesh homeland?
India,
Which
sir.
homeland? India homeland.
Yeah.
So if you're leaving India, where will they go?
Some people go to Singapore, US. UK.
Apro?
Then what else? I don't know.
Canada, okay. Where else? Middle East, yes. Which Malayali has gone to the Middle East before? Come on, Malayalis in the house. The Malayalis are giving me a dirty look. The question that I asked was, migration, is it important for India? And in that context, where do the, you mean in Malayalam? Yeah. I asked, where do the Keralites go? The Keralites go to the Middle East. They go to Dubai. They go to Bahrain, right? But this is also the mistake that everybody has. You know, you were not here. Has anybody heard of the Sound of Music? Yes? Finally, Akshata, thank you. Yesterday I said Sound of Music and there was one person, Asma, who had heard of Sound of Music. Have you heard of Sound of Music? Yeah? It's such a great, just a great musical, isn't it, Akshata? Yes, so do you know, Akshita, do you know of the character Rolf? The character Rolf. Rolf is the post boy who falls in love with Liesel. Liesel and Rolf start dating. They fall in love. And I played the role of Rolf at Founders Day Sound of Music, right? That's the one with the song, you are 16, going on 17, baby, it's time to, whatever, forget the words. But the reason I say that is because after that, because I grew up in Qatar, everybody called me Rolf from golf, right? So that was how I was also made fun of in school. So people migrate, right? People migrate from India. People also migrate within India. How many of you not a Maharashtrian but live in Bombay? Leher, where are you from originally? From Rajasthan, but you live in Bombay. Yeah, you live in Maharashtra. But you live in Bombay. Yeah? Okay. The reason I mention this is how many of you are from a particular state but live in another state? Okay. Teach us. Defense people always exceptional. You like UN people. You cannot count as migrants. Oh, wow. Living in Maharashtra, studied in Delhi. I saw somebody raised their hands here. Where do you live? Who raised their hand saying, where do you live? And where are you from? You're from Rajasthan as well. So lots of people from a certain state living in a different state. Did you know that in India, there are 455 million migrants? 455 million people in India are living in states or villages or cities other than their own. It is the country with the biggest internal migration in the world. The biggest internal migration. Okay? And therefore, migration is very important to India. India is the largest sender of migrants to other parts of the world. There are about 18 million Indians living in different parts of the world. So therefore, very important for India. The 18 million Indians, out of those 18 million Indians, close to 9 million live in the Gulf, live in the 6 countries, the 6 Gulf countries, right? So the reason I mention these as facts and figures is for you to understand how important migration is for India. But therefore, coming back to the question that you raised, as the United Nations, it is always, the UN always believes that it is up to a country to decide its migration policy, okay? Can President Trump decide on the migration policy of the United States? Yes, he can. Can he decide that people should be deported? Yes, he can. Can he deport people who are considered to be irregular in the United States and living without the proper documents? Yes, he can. Sounds like I'm talking about Obama, no? Yes, he can. Yes, we can. But that's what Obama said, right? But anyways, yes, he can deport them, and yes, he can send them. But where the United Nations now comes in is to say, but you cannot deport them if they are coming from Gaza, if they are coming from Syria, if they are coming from Venezuela. Why? Because these are countries or places that are affected by conflict, right? So you cannot send migrants from these countries back to their country because their countries are in war. So can the UN come in and say that? Yes, we will say that. But does the United States need to listen to us? No, they don't have to listen to us, right? Anything else? Yeah, we'll come back to you. You've already asked a question before, so I'll come. I just want to hear voices that we've not heard before. I want Nanjana to also ask questions.
So, what was the process of you getting into UN? Like, what was it feel like?
The process was I went to do my master's after I did my undergraduation in Australia. I then went to Switzerland to do my master's degree in international relations. Has anybody been to Switzerland? Yes, of course everybody's been to Switzerland. Is it the most beautiful country in the world? Huh? Yeah? No? Oh, India is the most beautiful country? Finally, patriots. Such liars. Of course, Switzerland is a beautiful country. So I went to Geneva. I did my master's in international relations from Geneva. And while studying I went to the Geneva School of Diplomacy and International. I went to the Geneva School of Diplomacy and International Relations, did my master's there, and then while I was doing my master's, I had a professor who was teaching me human rights. And that professor, his name is Curtis Dobler. C-U-R-T-I-S, Curtis. Dobler, D-O-E-B-B-L-E-R. My first role model in many different ways. My father was always is always my role model, but Curtis was such an important professor in my life. He is an international human rights lawyer and the first American human rights lawyer, the only American human rights lawyer in a team of 12 lawyers that defended Saddam Hussein. Have you all heard of Saddam Hussein? Yes, sometimes to make fun of others, we'll say, hey, stop it, you bloody Saddam. Don't say things like that, because that is disrespectful of an entire country and a culture. But the reason I say this is because an American human rights lawyer who was my professor was the lawyer in the defense team for Saddam Hussein during his very infamous trial by the United States after the invasion of Iraq by the US. I was inspired by him. He took me under his wings. He gave me an internship. I worked with him for about a year and a half for no pay. And by then, I had gained a lot of experience to apply for jobs in the UN. I had also met many people in the United Nations. By meeting people in the United Nations, I developed relationships with them. Relationships, right? And those relationships led to one person asking me, Shabri, I've got a 2-month consultancy in the UN. Would you like to come and do it? I said, hell yes. And that's how I joined the UN. Really, I just did internships. I worked with my professor a lot. I was so inspired by him. I built relationships at the UN with UN folk, and one person asked me, I've got a 2-month consultancy. Will you come and do that with me? I said yes, and that 2 months, now 19 years and running in the UN system. But not just the United Nations. I've also spent about 7 years with the Swiss government. I was a foreign affairs official, a diplomat with the Swiss Foreign Affairs, which is where I understood what it is like to be an Indian and work for a foreign government, right? And those are things that kind of shaped my career, all right? Thanks for the question. You had a question.
What I see today, the nature of international relations is scattered today. Today you cannot predict any country's foreign policy. For example, consider India. India's foreign policy is, I don't say it's good, but it's not in a good position.
Why?
Because all the neighboring countries, India has not good relations with major of neighboring countries.
Okay. So is it India's fault or is it the neighboring country's fault?
India has to maintain. For example, what my grandfather told, that if you want to maintain good relation with a country, even if it is poor, you need to make them feel higher than you.
Oh.
Please
give him a round of applause.
If you give them respect, they higher, eventually they will work for you.
Will you make the Nanjanad students feel that they're better than you? Will you give, I'm going by what he said, the analogy that was given now, would you make and feel the Nanjanad students feel better than you? Yes? How would you do that?
By giving them all the facilities.
No, don't answer. You asked the question. It's an important question. Go ahead. How will you strive for equality? Break it down for me, my friend. Break it down for me. Nanjappa, I fully agree with you. But again, how? I can keep asking you how to every layer of question that you give me. And it still be so difficult. Because you heard what, Wanga Peranappa? Dharnesh. I don't know if you heard Dharnesh say this, right? He said, we want to get out of our poverty line, right? We want to be able to, we are not even able to take loans, right? Equality, how? Where is that equality and how are you going to bring that equality? How are you going to work on that equality? So let's look at it more from your context as students. As students, what are you going to do to make them feel like they are better than you? What can you do? Yes, please.
Maybe tell them our problems we face.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Maybe tell them that it's not always amazing to have all the privileges. We also have our problems.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe tell them how living like that may give you like a simpler sense of life.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your name?
Eva.
Diva? Like D-I-V-A?
EVA.
EVA. Eva. Okay. Eva, where are you from?
Mumbai.
Mumbai. What made you say that as an answer?
I feel like that's just true for anyway. It's not just of the Nanjanad students. Just like if you're trying to relate with somebody, then maybe try to share your point of view and try to understand their point of view and try instead of trying to change their position,
Correct.
which is
So
not in your power.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. But what is that your point of view? Because what you told me was share our problems.
Yes.
But sharing our problems, I stood here this morning and I told you that my father had cancer, that I failed engineering, that I had a divorce. And these are just scratching the surface about my problems. I was ready to stand here on stage in front of 400 people and be vulnerable and tell you exactly what I was going through. Are you ready to be vulnerable?
Sure.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of courage. It's a lot of courage.
If I'm reaching out to my audience in that way, like if I feel like I'm talking from the audience point of view, we before thought of you like, oh, someone who was probably a topper in school, who was probably very high achieving, who has done XYZ, done W, whatever, and has not failed. Or not failed, but not have major dooms.
Yep. Yep.
But that's not true for anyone. We've all failed at some point of time. We've all succeeded in some. And just sharing that is what makes a difference.
What a great question, man. I really like your question. I like the way you framed it as well. And you kind of gave the answer, which is what led to Eva now giving this much more elaborate perspective. Because you said, we've got to make other countries, you said our foreign policy is not good. Have you all heard Jaishankar's speeches? Yes, sir. Yeah? I see that you love foreign policy. I love you. I like that you like international relations. Have anybody heard External Minister of India, Jaishankar, Mr. Jaishankar's speeches and statements? Go, YouTube it, Google it, Instagram it. This man is a legend. He is a legend. He's a rock star in Indian foreign relations. Okay? Google Jaishankar. He's a legend. Is it Karthik? I mean, I'm just thinking, yeah. I mean, there are people all over the world, there are people who talk about the kind of statements that Jaishankar makes. When the European countries told India not to buy Russian oil, our foreign minister said, because buying Russian oil supports Ukraine, the war in Ukraine by Russia, right? Our foreign minister said, Europe thinks that Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems. And that was enough to get the Europeans to shut up, right? And I think it's those kinds of perspectives that also change things. But the thing is, foreign policy, you're right. The foreign policy that you're talking about is a benevolent foreign policy. The foreign policy that you're talking about is a foreign policy that is considerate of its region. But foreign policy is also first about country. Country first. You're representing your country outside. Therefore, if I'm going to have a relationship with you, it's got to be a transactional relationship. I will give you something, you will give me something, and therefore we can be friends. So that's the reason why we say in international relations, there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies. There are only permanent interests. So, does India have a horrible foreign policy or not a good foreign policy? I disagree, because as far as Indians are concerned, they have a very good foreign policy. But we need a foreign policy that also thinks the way you and Eva think, okay? But that kind of a foreign policy is not one that countries first think of, all right? Okay, anybody else? We good? Friends, Nanjanad friends, Shepherdians, that was a session on international relations. Thank you.
Kind attention. This is, okay, just a closure for the session. A big round of applause for the Nanjanad students. Big round of applause for the Nanjanad kids. Yeah, yeah. All right. I truly appreciate Sujata. Sujata, miss, please stand. Please, I request you to stand your feet. Big salute to you for making it happen. For bringing all of our kids to our school. I know there was Mr. Shabri sir. I have to tell you, Ms. Sujata made it happen in spite of a lot of difficulties, because of holiday and stuff. So thank you so much, ma'am, for making this happen.